Good morning. This is Rhonda Larson from Beautiful Healing Journey, and I am here today. We're going to make something fun this morning, medicinal but yet fun and delicious. So, we're going to make a wild fermented soda, a natural soda. Um, and this is very simple to make, um, and like I said, it has some medicinal effects because you're going to actually be using medicinal herbs to do this, or flowers, or you can do this with berries, freshly picked berries. But we're gonna make a soda, and some people call it champagne. Some people call it cordial. Um, I think that sounds nicer, but I'm gonna actually call it a soda because it does get fizzy like a soda and a champagne. So basically, today I'm gonna show you how to make an elderflower cordial champagne or a soda. So these are the elderflowers picked from, as you know, the elderberry tree. This is I believe this is a Sambucus canadensis. This is, as you know, the elderberry syrup that we take in the wintertime to fight colds and flus. These are the flowers that come out this time of year in June, and then the berries come out late summer, usually around August. Um, and the flowers have similar medicinal benefits as the berries do. They are also antiviral, antiseptic. They have antimicrobial benefits. They are diaphoretic, which means they make you sweat. They have diuretic properties, which also helps you to urinate properly. They help with fevers. They help to reduce fevers. They're great for colds. They're great for any kind of flus or colds, just like, basically like the berries are. So I love making this for, drinking. Even the soda or the cordial also helps medicinally if you have any of those issues, or even just to stimulate your immune system. So anyway, I'm going to show you a little bit of the process, so you hopefully to answer some of the questions you may have. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I've been doing, 3 different steps. So I'm going to show you different processes here. So this is a finished second ferment. I made a lilac soda a couple weeks ago when we had our lilac bush was in flower. So this is the finished soda. So I'm going to open this bottle, and you're going to hear a pop. And as you can see, it's very fizzy. You have the fizzing coming up, and it's just amazing. I'm going to pour a little bit here. I put some blueberries in this one, so if you see some little blue things, those are berries. But that's what the finished soda looks like. It's a little bit like a kombucha, or a water kefir drink. It has the bubbliness and the effervescence of that without using the SCOBY or the water kefir grains. You're actually just fermenting it with the wild yeast from the flowers. So if you don't know, all things that are growing outside, basically your flowers, your berries, vegetables and fruits, have something called wild yeast on them. And the wild yeast actually help to promote the fermentation process when you're making a champagne, or you're making even a wine, a mead. I don't know if you've ever heard of mead. That's kind of an old-fashioned wine, or an old-fashioned alcoholic drink. But the naturally wild yeast are actually going to ferment this into a soda. So all of that you need to help with the fermentation process is a little bit of organic cane sugar and lemons and water. So I just wanted to show you the finished process of this lilac soda. And the second ferment, I'll get into that in a minute. But I'm just going to put this aside over here. So I'm going to walk you through the process. This is going to kind of go backwards here, but this is a rose petal soda that I am going to bottle today. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. So as you can see, I'm going to take this lemon off. As you can see, this is when you press on it, it's really, really bubbling. I started this soda or this cordial on Sunday. This is Wednesday. So this was only like 3.5 days, and it's already really, really bubbling. So this is how you're gonna know when your soda or your cordial is ready to bottle into your second ferment bottles. you're going to see the bubbling, and when you open the bottle or the jar, it's going to be really active. And all the, you're going to see things, you know, the bubbles coming up when it's even closed. So how I strain these swing top bottles, you can drink the soda like this. You could strain it and drink it like this and refrigerate it. It's already going to be bubbly. But if you really, really want a bubbly, you know, more effervescence, I do a second ferment, and that is with these swing top bottles. You can get these on Amazon, and you can get these bottles on Amazon too. I'm going to put a link into my video today for these bottles to make your soda, and then the second ferment bottles, so you can know what you need to order. Into my second ferment bottles, I also always put a couple either berries. Today I picked some freshly picked rose petals from our roses, and always make sure, I'm always saying this on, you know, my articles and recipes, do not use your flowers or your fruits or vegetables or whatever you have if you're spraying them. These rose petals, we have old-fashioned roses and we never have sprayed these. So you always want to use flowers and herbs that you have not sprayed. So I always put these in the second ferment bottles, fresh, either flower petals, or you can do berries. You could put strawberries in, a couple, like 2 or 3 strawberries or a couple raspberries in there. And then I'll take a funnel with a little strainer. Let me grab a cup here. Then I grab, I'm gonna pour this into a cup here. And I am going to pour this through here. Oop, making a mess. I'm gonna pour this through. You want your second ferment bottles to be about up to where the bottleneck starts going up. So you want to give it enough room to, it's going to really create a lot of gas in there. So you want to be burping these bottles every 2 to 3 hours. And you only need to do a second ferment for about 12 hours. So within that 12 hours, you're going to be burping it like 3 times every 3 hours, because if you let it go too long, it could actually explode the glass, or you could have a huge mess when you open the bottle, which I have done before. So if you want to make the second ferment, make sure that you burp these bottles every 3 hours. And it's really, I love making these because we love drinking them. And if you're having company over, it's just a beautiful, beautiful drink to serve to your guests. And you can tell them it's made of flowers, and it has some medicinal properties to it, and it's delicious. Who doesn't want to be drinking flowers? I know I love drinking flowers. Anyway, so I'm just going to let that process through there. And I'm going to even take some of these flower petals from before, because I don't want to waste them. And I'm just going to stick them in there. I'm going to just put them in there. This one's a little bit fuller than that one, so I'm going to just put a little bit more in there. I just wanted to show you this process because I know for me, I love having videos to see the actual process. It really helps me to understand the concept. So that is what your second ferment is going to look like if you choose to do the second fermentation. And then, like I said, I made a big mess here. Just clean these off here. But you're going to let these second ferment bottles stay on your counter for about 12 hours. So, and you want to burp them. And what I mean by burping, you want to open them up and let that gas escape, and then put it back on. And then in another 3 hours, you burp it again, both of them. And in with that 12-hour time, and sometimes I don't even let it go 12 hours. Sometimes I just let it go 8 hours. So when you see it's really, really fizzy when you open them up to burp them, you can just put them in the fridge. When you put them in the refrigerator, it's actually stopping the fermentation process. So just wanted to show you that process. So that's what your second ferment looks like. So I'm going to show you now how to actually make the actual soda. So today, like I said, we're taking elderflowers, and one thing that you want to make sure, you don't want to wash your flowers or your berries before you do this, because when you wash them, you're actually washing off the wild yeast. So you want those wild yeasts in your soda or your cordial, so you actually get that fermentation process from the wild yeast. So, and what I do, I put these in here, and I usually put enough flowers in till it's about, it's probably a little too much, like maybe a quarter to a third full. That's all you really need. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to take the juice of 2 squeezed lemons. You don't want to use the lemon from the grocery store that's in a little container. You want to actually squeeze fresh lemon juice. So the juice of 2 fresh lemons, you're going to pour that in there. And since this is a really, elderflower is really sweet. When you smell it, it has a beautiful floral sweet smell. So I'm going to be putting 6 to 7 tablespoons of organic cane sugar in this 50-ounce jar. And the reason you need the sugar is because the ferment actually, it feeds the fermentation process. So by the time you go to the second ferment process, like we did with the roses, the sugar content is very low because of it eating up the ferment eating up the sugar. But you need the sugar to feed it. So let me get another cup to strain that. Okay, and then basically then all that you need to do is put in, you want to fill water to the top of your jar. And you're also going to put in a whole cut lemon. So I'm just going to kind of put, I'm going to kind of layer it here. But you're just, and you want to use filtered clean water. You do not want to use chlorinated water for this, because the chlorine will kill the natural yeast and the probiotics. This is actually a wild ferment, so you're actually getting good healthy probiotics in this. So it's actually a probiotic drink, which is wonderful. And then what I do, I stir that up with a wooden spoon. You want to make sure when you do this that you have very clean hands. You have a sterilized or very clean jar, because you don't want to be introducing any kind of bacteria into your jar and your ferment process. So make sure everything that you're using is very clean. And then I just washed my hands before we started. So then at the very top, I always put a couple fresh lemon slices to kind of pull down and act as a weight for the flour. And then I will just put the lid on. And that is it. And I'm gonna label this. Today is June 10th. And I'm thinking probably by Saturday, or Friday or Saturday, this will probably be ready to put into the second fermentation bottles like we did with the roses today. Elderflower has a lot of natural wild yeast, so this one will probably ferment really quickly, but it just looks so pretty. They look so pretty when they're fermenting, and like I said, they're just beautiful to use if you have company coming over for a picnic or a dinner, and just to drink, you know, if you want a little something sweet with your dinner. And they have they're probiotic rich as well. So anyway, this is the process of making your own soda or cordial. And you can, like I said, you can make this with any fresh flowers that you have growing. Just make sure they're not sprayed, and make sure that the flowers you're using are edible, or you can use berries too. So, all right, have a great day. Have fun making your soda, and we'll see you later.